Ladies and gentlemen, friends, this is Puji Bujono again from Rumah Resiliensi Indonesia, being held in conjunction with the Global Platform for Disaster Reduction, the seventh session from the beautiful island of Bali, Indonesia. I'm privileged to sit with me with colleagues from the NEAR network. Soon I will ask them to introduce themselves and tell you what NEAR stands for, but we will have a brief conversation about what they're working for, what their goals and objectives and their priorities, and how it relates to Indonesian social societies, agendas, and works. So with me, I have Shahida, my dear friend. Why don't you introduce yourself and what you do? As you are the big boss of the NEAR, I heard. No?
Thank you so much, Puji. That's very kind of you. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. My name is Shahida Arief, and I am the regional representative for NEAR, which is Network for Empowered Aid Response. It's a network that represents Global South. So I am representing Asia region with the network. Thank you.
There you go. And now the bigger boss. Hibak has been with me in other interviews. But Hibak, go ahead, introduce yourself and what you do.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Puji, having us. My name is Hibak Kalfan. I am the executive director of NEAR. As Shahida has said, we are a Global South network of civil society organizations.
Right. Let's just go with you, Hibak, first before I go to Shahida. Maybe just give a very, very succinct introduction, how it started, what triggers NEAR to become what it is, right? And what are things that you're passionate for through this network to pursue?
Thank you. I don't know how much time we have, but
it's a lot of time. It's enough time to do that.
So the Network for Empowered Aid Response, also known as NEAR, is basically a network, as we said, of Global South organizations. It was founded in 2016 by a dynamic group of 96 local leaders across the Global South. And so during the World Humanitarian Summit process, they started talking about systems change. And a lot of local actors then started to meet each other and realize that they had common problems across the system in different locales, but didn't have a chance to really talk about it. So as the momentum grew for the World Humanitarian Summit, the need for global representation for local civil society, especially from the Global South, became more apparent. And so NEAR was actually established at the Grand Bargain in May 2016 in Turkey.
This is in conjunction with World Humanitarian Summit, I assume? Now,
Yes.
Hibak, you're talking about system change.
Yes.
What is it that need to be changed in the system? I mean, if the system is perfect, you don't need to change as well.
Very
So what
true.
is the imperfection of that system that need to be changed? And by NEAR network anyway.
Yeah. So I think the first goal that we had was representation. So ensuring that this additional community had a seat at the table. And so ensuring that the Global South civil society organizations were a part of the global discourse when it came to policy and practice.
Let me deduce from there.
Sure.
So the conventional system actually have the table whose seats are filled by the North. So now you have some Global South people to sit on that table. That's my deduction.
It's actually absolutely
Okay.
right. So it's not only Global North, it's different groups, right? So it's the donor community from the Global North, it's the UN system and the UN, it's the international civil society, and then this is a fourth arm, which is the Global South civil society organizations.
Right. Now I would like to go to the region, since you're covering Asia and Pacific. This is like 1/3 of the globe actually, right? So what's the relevance of what Hibak was saying into the Asia and Pacific? And why does it have to be, how do you know, how do you say, it's so close to the agenda of Asia Pacific, the system change that NEAR is advocating? It's on, you cannot hear it, but it's on.
Okay. So I think it's very interesting because we need to see policies into practice. And it's very important that we connect with context. It's very important that we bring it down to the communities. And that's why this kind of relationship and engagement with countries through civil society organizations where they are responding to crisis probably on the daily basis. And they are trying to reach out to communities together with other stakeholders at country level, lead the initiatives on how they can reduce probably risk, how they can mitigate, but then how they can be part of the decision-making process. So this movement, it's very important that it's been connected with all what is happening at the local level. And that's why, considering, as you said, like Asia Pacific, because it's one of the region which is prone to many hazards and has been facing many challenges into all directions probably. So we are connected with local leaders in more than 9 countries, and Indonesia is one of the priority country for NEAR, considering what is happening on humanitarian reform in Indonesia, but also the journey that Indonesia has started from 2004 up till now, and they are sort of like, bringing that change to other actors as well. And then, of course, it's also important that how these local leaders are connected with each other, how they can learn, how they can actually bring their experiences, which can actually be replicated into other countries as well.
So you attempted to connect these Global South leaders from Asia Pacific to one another into some sort of network or circle, or like that, right? Is that right? Okay, now, if you have 1 minute fame time to speak to your audience from Asia Pacific now, right in front of you, what would you tell them so that they could join your movement? Go ahead, say it.
I think one of the things I would say that NEAR is your network. It's a network of civil society organizations from the Global South, and it's a platform where you can actually reshape and reimagine the aid system, and it can be actually co-created together with local leaders from various countries, no matter where they are. But it's a platform where actually you can access information, you can participate, you can make your own decision and choices. So that's what I would like to say to everyone through this platform.
I think you should really consider running into politics, I mean, the way you convince people seems to be really professional. But Hibak, look, if people are to relate and connect with NEAR Network in Asia Pacific at least, probably they would be inspired if they know what's going on upstairs. Since you are at the upstairs, right, in your interaction, what do you do at that global level so that our colleague in Asia Pacific actually know they could relate? My voice goes somewhere. So what do you actually do to help these Global South colleagues?
Yeah, so as Shahida mentioned, it all starts at the community or the national or local level. At the global level, where we work is in 2 areas, in global policy and policy reform, and then actually being able to develop practice to be able to inform that. So for us, there's 2 added values at the global level. Number 1, it's ensuring that there's cross-learning south to south, and that we're engaging south to south across borders. And then the second thing is to actually show diverse faces and voices. So right now, NEAR is at the grand bargain within the facilitation group. We're very lucky that Puji is our representative. We are a part of the Interagency Standing Committee. We're a part of the Global Protection Cluster. And we're in various conversations at the highest level of global North governments and UN agencies. And so really for us, what we're really trying to do is connect the needs and the wants of local actors and local organizations to that global discourse. And what we're providing is that direct linkage. The linkage of no intermediaries. We are not your intermediaries as NEAR. We're actually your secretariat that helps facilitate for you to exactly say what's needed, what needs to be changed within the system.
All right. So I guess with that, the picture becomes complete. If a colleague would engage with NEAR Network in Asia Pacific, they know somebody is out there to open the door for them and to get them to sit on the seat and actually talk directly to their counterparts from the north, right? Now, maybe it will be more convincing if we hear from you, Shahida. What has the Global South leaders tell you of benefit that they have gained so far from the engagement? Or maybe the promise of the benefit, for that matter. What did they say to you?
This is very interesting because in each country or in different contexts, there are different initiatives as well. And I think it's a process which they were already part of in their individual or respective contexts, but I think, or in organizations or networks, but I think now it's connected.
Okay.
So if we take an example from another country like Bangladesh, for instance, they are sort of like, assessing their progress towards localization, but how they would like to achieve in a long-term sustainable, connecting it with development and with other stakeholders, considering that what's already been there in the humanitarian architecture. And similarly in other countries, like how there are discussions going on that how they can come together for human advocacy and coordination and see that what are some of the things or messages that they would like to put forward.
Okay.
So I think it's very different from these countries, but I think as they meet together, so they are talking about that how they can bring that change, which is helpful to localization or their efforts in their respective countries, how they can engage with local governments, how they can actually do innovative programming, which is otherwise sort of like, a bit challenging as we are all busy in responding to various needs.
So, can I jump in? Do you mind if I
sure.
jump in? Actually, there's something. I think Shahida is being very modest, by the way. I think one thing that she's done that has been extremely impressive has been the fact that for the first time ever, the leaders in these 8 to 9 countries are actually speaking together.
Okay.
Before they had a siloed kind of representation in the global discourse, but I think now she's actually started to bring together the region that's able to talk about the real issues that affect them in each country.
Okay.
And so, to me, that's an extremely impressive feat, because I think that's how we're going to start to build to be able to then combat some of these conversations that we're having at the global level.
So if I get it right, engagement with Near Network would actually open the possibility, one, for the Global South actually to directly talk to their counterparts from the North. Number two, that they will have a platform to talk among themselves. And for all you know, these countries, this civil society in different countries actually face similar challenges with different flavor. And feeling that you're not alone probably is quite empowering. But also having the collective voice as one could be very empowering. So that's in a nutshell, colleagues. This could go on for 3 days, but we have only 15 minutes. But we're fortunate to have Hibak and Shahida with us, with that bird's eye view of what NEAR is trying to do, and the invitation for you to join their movement. So colleagues, I would like to thank Hibak and Shahida for this sharing of your information. And this is Puji Budiono from Rumah Resiliensi Indonesia. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.